Welcome back to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of our request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now let's start with the first story. It's called Documentation. I worked for a large property management company many years ago. Our property manager was an absolute nightmare. He was cruel to residents, and this was low-income housing, mind you. He managed through fear and intimidation, got in employees' faces, yelled, swore, and tried to push people out, just so he could fill positions with his friends, or minions really. And for some reason, he had it out for me. He did everything he could to make me quit. And I'll be honest, I hated going to work every day. But this was during the recession. I had a baby at home. Quitting was not an option. Then, one day, he tried a new tactic. He told me I had to keep a detailed log of everything I did, all day long, broken down into 15-minute increments. Now, I knew what this was. He didn't expect me to do it. He was going to wait a few months, then ask for the logs. And if I didn't have them exactly how he wanted, grounds for termination, insubordination. But he underestimated me. Sure enough, about 3 months later, he randomly asked for the documentation. I said, give me a minute, I'll go print it. I came back with the full log, 3 months worth. Every task, every 15-minute block, organized and printed. He and the assistant manager, who was totally in on it, just stared at it, dumbfounded, defeated. A couple of weeks later, I transferred to a new role at a different property. And a few months after that, both of them got caught for fraud and stealing money. The next story is called No Help. One of the offices I work for is moving to a new location. Now, I started at this office, worked there for 4 years, until I got transferred to a different one that's closer to home. Since they are officially moving next week, they've been slowly packing up the place and hauling everything 5 miles down the road to the new office. Throughout the week, I've offered to help, repeatedly. Yesterday, I even brought up a few suggestions. Offered my truck, offered to grab boxes, carry stuff, you name it. Every single time, it was shut down. Finally, the supervisor looks at me and says, look, we need you to sit there and deal with patients. We don't need your help with packing. We've got this. Cool, got this. So I turned around, went back to work, and did exactly what I was told. I said I dealt with patients, and I ignored everything else. They needed an extra set of hands a few times, started calling my name. But wouldn't you know it, I was suddenly busy with a patient, or the phone, or just doing what I was told. At one point they asked how to pack certain items. I just shrugged, no answer. Eventually the supervisor comes over, frustrated, and asks, aren't you going to help with anything? And I smiled and said, nope, I'm going to sit here and deal with patients. Just like you told me. You said you didn't need my help. Fast forward to today. Guess who showed up with a sore back and hobbling around? The third story is called The Drill. Let's rewind a bit. Back to the days when I was working with my father-in-law as a builder's laborer. Now, my father-in-law, also my boss, had this little habit. Every so often he'd announce he needed to go to B&Q for a vital item. Something totally urgent, like a hinge, a bit of tape, a left-handed spirit level. But we all knew the truth. It was really just his excuse to sneak off for a bacon and sausage sarnie at the cafe, while the rest of us got on with the actual work. But the man did have one golden rule. Tools were fair game. Borrow what you like, except for his precious DeWalt drill. That drill was sacred, untouchable, the holy grail of power tools. Never ever touch the DeWalt, he'd say. Fair enough. So on this fine morning, off he toddles, mysteriously empty-handed but suspiciously eager. He leaves me, the plumber and the plasterer to get on with it. My job was to sort out the architrave and hang a door. Only problem? No drill. And I've been expressively forbidden to touch the DeWalt. No drill, no door, Simple as that. Fast forward an hour or so. He strolls back in. Suspicious stains on his shirt. And what may or may not have been ketchup at the corner of his mouth. Why the heck isn't the door done? He demands. I look at him, wide-eyed and innocent. Well, I did what I could. But you said I'm not to touch the D-vault. Cue spluttering. The plasterer falls off the steps from laughing. The plumber was trying to keep a straight face, quietly losing it. And I was just standing there with the most angelic look I can muster. Needless to say, that was the day I got official permission to finally use the drill. The next story is called No Phone. I was working as a laborer on a pipe crew for a site work and excavation company. Hard, honest work. Dirty boots, early mornings. You know the type. Now, I'm not one of those on my phone all day kinda guys. I'm not glued to social media, and I'm definitely not texting on the job. The only thing I ever used my phone for during the day was to quickly check the time. That's it. But one day, the foreman walks over and says, "No phones on the clock." I said, "I'm just checking the time." He crosses his arms and hits me with, "If you need to check the time, get a watch." Okay, challenge accepted. I hit up like 5 different pawn shops. Finally found a cheap, slightly beat up pocket watch. Next day on site, I made a whole production out of checking the time. Every single time. I'd dig around in my pocket, look side to side, then slowly flip open the pocket watch like I was some Victorian railroad inspector. Naturally, my foreman sees this, storms over and says, "I told you, no phones, even for checking the time." I just grin, hold up the pocket watch and go, "Not a phone. Got a watch, like you said." He stared at me, seethed, and walked away without another word. Never got on my case again. Shortly after, I got transferred back to my usual crew, and it was never an issue again. The last story is called Impatience. I ran the mail department at a mid-sized commercial printing company. Most of the time I worked on customer mailing lists, making sure everything was processed just right so they'd get their bulk postage discounts. But now and then I got a fun little bonus job, printing raffle tickets. Now, raffle tickets are tiny, like 1 inch by 4 inches. Too small to run through the inkjet machine on their own. So for this job, I set them up 4 across 2 high, 8 tickets per sheet. The tickets were printed on holographic paper. Fancy, expensive. Definitely not something you want to screw up. I built a custom spreadsheet in Excel. 8 columns, 1 for each ticket position. The idea was simple. Print a unique number on each ticket, in 2 spots. One on the customer's half, and one on the stub that gets torn off and kept by the raffle organizers. Now, the way the inkjet machine works, you have to input the exact XY coordinates for each text box. So I start with ticket position 1, place the numbers, copy those settings to ticket 2, update the data link to point to column 2 of the spreadsheet, repeat for ticket 3, then 4, then 5. I was midway through ticket 5 when my always in a hurry manager storms in. In front of the entire department, he barks, "Why isn't the machine running yet?" I calmly tell him, "Still setting it up, not ready yet." He glances at the screen and sees all 16 positions, 2 per ticket, already have some data linked. What he doesn't see is that positions 6, 7 and 8 are still showing ticket number 1. Position 5 is only halfway right, but he doesn't ask for clarification. He just says, "What's it going to take to get this machine running right now?" Well, okay, let's play. I reach over, grab the last printed sheet, hand it to him and say, "If you want to put your signature on this piece and approve it, we can run it right now. But I won't sign off until I verify all 16 positions are accurate." Silence. The whole room kind of stops. The next day was a total disaster. They had to overnight more of that expensive holographic paper. Rush reprint, rush cut, rush my department to imprint tickets 5 through 8 correctly. Rush final trim, rush delivery to the client. We lost all the profit, probably lost the client's trust. I just kept my head down, smiled, did my job, and when the manager handed me the wrecked half of the job to redo, the look on his face was absolutely priceless. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.